Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. As promised, I am back to talk about, give you like a little recap of the waste of time that the Tasha K interview was with Martell Holt, you guys. And I'm sorry to those of you who wasted $12.99 on Tasha K Live because the receipts were old and stale and did nothing to make, paint whatever narrative Martell was trying to paint. So when the interview started, and I thought Tasha K was stalling because I watched the YouTube version, which was already a mess to begin with, and Tasha K was trying to throw shade at Mel before she started the interview, saying, I don't know, I'm a wife and I've never had to wait 7 years before my husband decides which home he's going to choose. No. If Martell was going to choose his side chick for all of these years, why didn't he? How about that, Tasha K? Nonetheless, at one point there was, I think, like, it started off with like a couple thousand people that were live in the chat. The chat was moving fast, and so the people who were subscribed to her channel, it was subscribers only mode in the chat, but there was a lot of millimeters in this chat, you guys, and I even saw a few content creators that were in this chat, and it was lit. It was lit. There were some haters in there that were trying to, spin the narrative and say, oh, Martell has a right to tell his side of the story. And they were mad that there were millimeters in the chat and they were trying to deflect and all these things. But every step of the way, they were calling out the BS. So it was a lot, like I said. First, in Tasha K form, she does her routine where she tries to like gas up the guest and make them feel more important than what they are. And, Martell's all like, yeah, I kind of dabble in the wine business. And it was all cap, you guys. I don't even know, whether or not, can you even get NS wine anywhere? Was that the only ones left in stock for this interview? Like, I'm just confused. Tasha K is up here playing the little commercial that featured, of course, the Fletchers and all of these things, and really trying to hype up this lame wine. And nonetheless, that's where we kind of started, but it just sounded like a hood promotion, if we're just going to keep it a buck. There was a lot of references, you guys, to Melody Cherie Rogers, even though Martell kept saying that he didn't want to say her name and he didn't want to give her clout or attention or say anything that was going to make her look positive, and even went as far as calling her the B word a few times, you guys. Also, I am confused because, like I said in the previous video, I thought Martell was under a gag order, which would include, since this was an active case, that you were not allowed to speak about your ex-wife and you were not allowed to refer to her by a name, and you kept saying her name in this interview. So was that a violation, or was the gag order just like a flat-out lie? Because Tasha K, you reported that to us. And then Tasha K is, when she tries to get into the DV allegation, she replays a former interview that Dr. Heavenly did with Melody, in which she's asking Melody whether or not there was any type of abuse or whatever, if Martell was abusive. And Melody said in this particular live that there was not. And, Martell, he is just such a liar, you guys. He is such a liar. It was a lot of back and forth. It was a lot of redirecting. Like, I felt like we should have had like a start to a finish, but it was like we would start somewhere and then we would backtrack and then we would go to another direction and then we would come back to answer the original question, which was supposed to be starting off of Martell's life, right? So talks about how he grew up with a single mom. His dad was in jail for, like nearly 30 years. His brother's currently in jail. First says he doesn't know what his brother is in jail for, but then says that they text each other all the time while he's in jail. So how is that happening? If you don't know what your brother is in for, make it make sense. Now you're about to get his burner phone taken away from him at the precinct. I'm just trying to figure out like what is happening. So there's that. Martell tries to say that he is the opposite of his brother, even though they both have criminal records. Martell tries to say that He was the guy that always had all these girlfriends, a complete contrast of what his BFF Destiny has told us, you guys. That he's never been single, that he's never had more than one woman at one time, except for his marriage, which I am calling cap on that, because there have been plenty of side chicks who have revealed themselves to be in some type of situationship with Martell, whether he was married at the time or not. So then, also, Tasha K wanted to clarify the two-parent household thing, because she threw some shade at the side chick that she did not properly answer the two-parent household question, and Martell, that's how he, like, again, confirmed that, you know, the father really wasn't there, and all this and that. But here's the thing, you guys. Why didn't Martell do any of his homework? I never understand people who are unhinged and they refuse to do research, they refuse to do their homework. I don't know if Martell was like playing like he was a complete moron on purpose, or if he is completely unaware of all of the times his side chick has thrown him under the bus, including the Tasha K interview herself that she did a couple of years ago. But all of the platforms that the side chick has been on, everything, all the lives she's done, all the messy comments, all the messy DMs, all the recorded conversations with different bloggers alleging that Martell has abused her, alleging all of these things, that Martell is vindictive and obsessive and likes to call like 20, 30 times. She showed a screenshot, remember, of her phone being called, several times. And then we get into, the revenge P, we get into the Carson Blue, live and what she said. And Martell was like, well, I don't want to get that any attention because she's a stripper. And I was like, really? That's what we're doing, Martell? Really? Okay. All right. So now we're going to shame people. And that's what I didn't like either. He came off so horrible. He was so anti-women, and it was very disgusting, you guys. And you're leaving all of these crumbs, these breadcrumbs, this trail, so that your kids are going to see all of this one day and see all of the awful things that you were saying about their mother and how you're trying to uplift this side chick that you still can't even call your own girlfriend, you guys. Make it make sense. So then there's that. Also backtracks, talks about how him and Mel met, and he's like grinning about it because they met in, with his background being a teacher or whatever, and that he taught special ed. Perhaps he should have been the student in special ed, because this interview was completely all over the place. It was completely full of lies. It was regurgitated stuff that he said previously, and then a whole new narrative that is a complete opposite of everything his side chick has said. Also wanted to, point out that he was the only cast member that is born and raised in Huntsville. Also made a comment that currently LAMH Huntsville is filming, but he's not filming. And again, Tasha K told us that Martell was filming the season when he got arrested. So what is the truth, you guys? What is the truth? Are you not filming right now because of all the heat that's on you? Because of you being arrested for this revenge P, pending what happens with the case? Or were you actually fired? Is what the people need to know, right? And so then, of course, Martell, confirms, of course, that the kids are 7 days on with him and then 7 days with Mel. And then tries to come for Mel's parenting and tries to say that whenever, the kids go back to her, that she, has a million questions for them. And that first says at the beginning of the interview that his kids are good, all 5 of them. That they're all good, that they're all mild-mannered, and especially his kids with Melody are all very quiet and all very respectable. But then says later on, contradicts himself and says the kids are bad. So again, it's just I don't know if he just doesn't remember what he says, or he just tries to think of something that's so mean and malicious, and he thinks that he is just digging this grave for Mel. But really, he is not only building a case for Mel, but he is also digging himself a grave and falling right in it himself, because he's the one making himself look bad. He is making himself look like a narcissist, like a liar, like he's bipolar, like he doesn't remember what he said, what is left, what is right. His side chick, completely has aired him out for the past several years. So Martell had the audacity to say that she needs to be on the show, that she needs to be getting a check, but she's told us herself that she's never going to be on the show, that she signed her rights away.
So on what planet is it that she's ever going to be on the show? Even if Mel is not on the show and has nothing to do with the show, your side chick aired out everybody, already dragged Carlos King and Oprah and the whole network. And said that she was tired of them using her likeness in one of her rants. And you confirmed that Carlos King said she was never going to be on the show because she was uncouth. So how are you getting on this platform and making it sound like Mel is blocking her from being on the show when that's not true? She blocked her own self, but it was never going to happen anyways, right? And so then we go from, the side chick saying in her interview with Tasha K that how her and Mel weren't friends and how Mel was going to come to, her house to try to beat her up and all these things. And Mel was getting, her friends to come and beat her up, to Martell saying that Mel was friends with the side chick now and that she was trying to figure out, some type of code words to use in the event her husband was with the side chick at the time. So which is it? Are they not friends and Mel is going to beat her up? Or are they secretly friends and, coming up with a code for Martell? Seriously? Like this is what I mean. This is why it was so infuriating, because every time he said something, it was just like the Destiny interview that she did a couple weeks ago with the Dear Future Wifey podcast, where it was like immediately it was like, okay, that's a lie. You said this on the show, you said this in an interview, you said this at the reunion, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how my mind was going. Even with the DV allegations, it was from the live that Mel did when she was trying to leave the house when, she said that Martell owed her money, owed her that nearly $20K or whatever. And remember, he was not letting her get all of her things in her house. True story, I had a relative this was several years ago. But it was around the holiday. It was on a particular holiday. He threatened, he didn't want her to come, to see her family because she comes from a big family. She has a lot of siblings. And, basically said if any of the family came up, he was putting them all in body bags. And so, nonetheless, we all went up there. We all went up there. We called the police. The police had to escort my relatives out of the house, and they could only put so many things in bags and then leave the house, was what happened. And that, I wish I would have known Melody Cherie back then, because I would have told her, like, Mel, just call the police. Just call the police, because all of the foolishness that's taking place right now with Martell would not be going down, because he would not be getting away with this nonsense, and you would have been able to get all your fur, all your designer clothes, and all this other stuff that he is like cutting up on his medium suits. You would have been able to get all of it, and it wouldn't have been a thing. But nonetheless, he is up here alleging that he had this baby with his side chick while he was quote unquote separated. And now he keeps trying to backtrack and allege all of these affairs with Mel, is, saying, she said I never talked dirty to her, but maybe the side dude talked dirty to her. And then trying to allege she had a thing with her attorney and said that he was going to file like an alien of affection. And I'm like, well, why do you care if you've had a mistress for all these years? And then also was, trying to slut shame Melody Cherie and claim that, he felt away because she's quote unquote getting flued out and isn't showing, who she's with or anything, and trying to insinuate that she's like a sugar baby, which is completely and utterly disgusting. First of all, rich men who can afford to wine and dine somebody is not a big deal. And why would Mel want to expose anybody that she's potentially dating or potentially involved with when you're completely unhinged? When you accused her of dating the congressman, you've accused her several times of dating this attorney, this divorce attorney. You have accused her several times of trying to mess with the dude, try to insinuate stuff with the dude from the music video. Like, you've made all of these false allegations trying to find somebody that is going to stick as quote unquote Melody Cherie's boyfriend. And it hasn't happened. So how is it that you know that Mel is supposedly dating somebody and that has told you for the past couple of years she's dating somebody, but also is getting flued out by random dudes? Like, make it make sense, you guys. Like, this is what I mean. Can we get the lie straight at least? Like, if you're going to lie, can you stay to one lie? And stick to the lie all the way through. But the problem is when you lie and then you contradict yourself and then you tell another lie on top of the lie, and then your side chick has completely told the opposite of that this whole time for the past 5 years, it just becomes completely ridiculous, right? It becomes completely ridiculous. It becomes completely insane, right? Talks about how he was a football star, talks about the kids. And here's the other issue that I have is that first he says he doesn't abuse the kids, even though he was not allowed to see them for 60 days. But then says he might have given some lashings to Tank. And I'm like, really? And then the most hurtful was the discussion of Sugar Mama that I was very disgusted about, because Tasha K was trying to basically imply whether or not, Martell was the father. And I'm just disgusted by this, complete conversation to begin with, because there is no question the features that Sugar Mama has, that is Martell, who is the father. Like, come on now. See, here's the problem. He thought the Sugar Mama was going to be the answer to, for him and Mel to ride off into the sunset. And he was still trying to make fetch happen and still trying to make fetch happen with the side chick. So that is why you're not together. But he has this resentment against Sugar Mama that is so disgusting, because she looks exactly like her other siblings. So why are you doing this, right? And it's a reminder of your guilt. It is a reminder that your side baby is close in age. And then speaking of children, he talks about the side chick's daughter, Paris, and basically says, hey, that's her kid. I'm not nobody's stepdad. I'm not stepping in. She has a father. But then when the question of paternity comes up in regards to Sugar Mama, you say that a former friend of Melody Cherie told you to get a paternity test, and the only former friend I can think of would be Destiny. Because remember, she was running double agent, pretending to be Mel's friend, but also telling Martell allegedly everything Mel is telling her so that he could continue to cheat and do whatever. And basically said that it doesn't matter what the DNA says, that he's still going to raise Sugar Mama as his own. And I was just done, you guys. I was just done. There were so many times, like, I had to stop and just, like, walk away from the interview because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was the same thing with the Destiny interview. I could not believe the lies I was hearing, you guys. So then, of course, he also likes to make it a point to say he never had two households. He only has one household, with 5 kids. And I was like, really? Make it make sense, because you were trying to go from 2 different places. And then it's funny because he would try to uplift the side chick, but then at the same time, he never claims her. He doesn't want people to drag her or disrespect for her because it's going to, reflect, quote, negatively on him. But at the same token, you won't claim her as a girlfriend. You say you guys do not live together. You say that she's just a friend for right now, and you're in the process of courting. You're in the process of becoming a relationship of some sort. So what? Why is this a thing? And then the question that everybody wants to know, you've been with a side chick for over 10 years. You're not even claiming her after 10 years and being divorced for a few years as your girlfriend. Why won't you marry her? But you married Mel within a year, within like 7 months or whatever. And so then he tries to make up this stupid story talking about God told him to stand still, to stand down, that Mel was the one, and try to downplay Melody's physical features and how pretty she is and all of these things, even though previously at the beginning of the interview, he was nodding and smiling when Tasha K was talking about how attractive Mel was. But then he, later in the interview, tries to say, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to say anything positive about Mel. And then Tasha K, also has text messages that clearly were deleted by Martell because it's very, chaotic. It's very, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of behavior. 1 minute he's trying to ask of who the pediatrician is for the kids, who the doctor is. And then another moment he's like, stop bullying me. Stop talking about me on social media and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? What is happening? And then the revenge P, right? Martell's claiming that there's no video, that there was just like a screenshot of something, and that the reason that it was obtained was because his side chick was, quote, going through his phone. Are you kidding me? So if you're a one-woman man, why does your side chick need to go through your phone? If she's, quote, your woman now, your other woman now, why is she going through your phone? And why is she telling the people that she saw the video and that she had access to the video? Because you wanted her to create a fake account on Instagram and post the video and pretend that Melody Cherie was cheating on you. And that you're saying on the show that she does not provide, oral, what, but there's receipts of this revenge pee that says the complete opposite. And the side chick is on record, is on audio saying, had this been another man, had this really been somebody else that was not Martell, that she would have posted it, that she would have committed the crime, you guys. So, and it's just funny to me because Martell seems to think that Mel has this vendetta against him and is trying to make him look bad when all of this behavior has been coming from his end and from the side chick's end. Mel has given him a ton of grace, you guys. Mel has been a lot more graceful than I would have been and gave him plenty of chances to get it together. Wouldn't put him on child support, wouldn't put him on any type of alimony or anything. And you'd be paying me everything. I'm sorry. You're going to cheat on me and disrespect me and have a baby with somebody else. Oh, I'm taking you to the cleaners and more. This is the game you want to play? Okay. So nonetheless, he is also still trying to campaign for side chick to be on the show, even though he's not currently filming the show, but is trying to say that, Mel doesn't want her on the show because she feels that the side chick is going to be the star and is going to take the spotlight away. Come on now, Martell. Now, even you don't believe that mess. And is trying to say that this revenge pee is a storyline for Mel. But why is it a storyline for Mel if she filed these charges against you in July of 2023? If this was a storyline, wouldn't she have filed this at the beginning of this year? And you would have, just happened to immediately get arrested within the first couple of weeks of January? Wouldn't that have made more sense if this was a storyline and you found out that filming started at the beginning of this year and all of a sudden you're arrested? Like, come on, Martell. Like, let's use our heads. Right? And so Tasha K is then trying to ask Martell, okay, well, because it was so eerie, the things that he was saying that were so similar to Destiny, right? So for instance, trying to say that Mel keeps trying to put him in jail and all these things, and it was like 6 or 7 times, although he really couldn't specify what the other reasons were for, is saying that they're in court now because Mel wants to put the kids back on TV and all this other stuff, and that he's trying to block it. He doesn't want to happen. And here's the thing. He's blocking it and doesn't want it to happen because he cannot profit financially off of it. He cannot profit from, Sugar Mama and the sales of Sugar Mama's line, right? So that's what that's about. Also is talking about like some rap career that never was, that he wanted to be. Also talks about, and this is what I mean, you guys, you have to be careful sometimes when people say stuff, because people were saying that this interview was going to be all about the Scotts and exposing the alleged mistresses, when really Martell really did a lot of deflecting when it came to the Scotts. He did say that they had fake storylines on the show, which we already knew. He did say that he was the only one who was honest about basically admitting to being a cheater, but like nobody else basically came forward, basically insinuating that he knows everybody else cheats, but he's not going to rat them out because he has beef with Melody once again. Like, surprise, surprise, right? Because trying to out them before on the show did not work, because none of the side chicks are as unhinged as his, and won't come forward, at least not publicly enough to be dragged like Martell's side chick is, he circles back to Mel. This whole interview was about Mel. That's why I knew when people were saying, oh, this is all about the Scotts, I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. He's not doing an interview with Tasha K to talk about the Scotts. Like, let's keep it a buck. The only person he has to talk about is Mel, and specifically why that live came out when it did, because it originally was supposed to come out Sunday to put a damper on Mel's event, you guys. So again, all of this is about Mel. All of this is about slandering Mel and trying to uplift the side chick, right? Also is claiming that, that what he got arrested for, isn't going to stick and all these things. Here's the thing. You can't just get arrested for anything. They're not just going to put a warrant for your arrest for anything, right? Like, make it make sense. Like, it's not just going to just come out of thin air. Also said when he was arrested that the kids were in the car at the time, that he was going into the precinct to obtain a document, called his mom. His mom was very upset and all these other things. And it is what it is, right? Because here's the thing for me, like, all it confirms to me is that his mom is nothing but an enabler. She is an enabler. She is one of those women who are male identified, who is always going to defend her son no matter what, and doesn't care how many mistakes that he makes. She's still going to stand beside him. You know, you have one son who basically is in jail all the time. You have a son who was in jail, a few times and got arrested for some other things, but is still basically publicly disrespecting and, slandering and defaming his ex-wife, but claiming to love his mom, but literally slandering and defaming somebody who's the mother of your 4 kids. Like it's not, the math doesn't math, right? Because any mother would have sat Martell down a long time ago and tell him to stop it. That this isn't the way to resolve things with Mel, and that you should have done a better job of trying to co-parent with her instead of trying to find ways to get back to her. And then when you're not being bipolar and sending her 12 dozen flowers, then you go on these rants and just start cussing her out and accuse her of doing all these things that don't exist. But yet you wondered why Mel did not want to give you her personal phone number. And that either you had to talk through a third party or only talk via email because you're unhinged. So then Martell also, tries to allege that Mel is just putting him through the ringer, that the show favors Mel, this is all lies, you guys. We all know that the show favors everybody not named Melody Cherie. That everybody tries to paint this picture, everybody tries to paint this false narrative, that Melody Cherie is so horrible, that Melody Cherie is all of these things, and basically has put her in a toxic and dangerous work environment by inserting her ex-husband, who is completely volatile. And also denied his behavior of blowing up at one of the reunions. Doesn't take any ownership, doesn't take any accountability. Anything that confirms that he's a terrible person, he deflects or just flat out denies it. But anytime that he feels that it's an opportunity to make a dig at Mel, he takes it. And then further makes it worse by taking a dig at the kids. So it's just awful. Also, tries to claim that he has structure in his house. Also tries to claim that, Carlos was going to try to get him on Housewives and, all of these things, and then ended up with them being on their own network. Also wanted to do a show on HGTV or whatever. Then he keeps, just saying the B word throughout, saying that this bleep is trying to send him to jail. Again... Also, it's just trying to denounce all of a sudden, after calling your side chick a peasant, you guys, now is trying to say she was never a side chick, she was the other woman. And I was like, this is what we're doing. She was the other woman that you never would leave your wife for. Make it make sense, you guys, because here's the thing. If this was your woman, why didn't you leave your wife and go right off into the sunset with her? And now that you are divorced from your ex-wife, why won't you marry her and right off into the sunset with her? Why do you guys not live together? Why do you refer to her as a friend? And then you're trying to clarify the charade business relationship thing so that you don't get in trouble once again with your side chick, because that's the narrative that you've put out there. Even though Carlos King sold this as like a big love story, and that, he would call in and check in on you and Sheree, and they were there. Like having some type of canoodling taking place. Like, make it make sense. Everything is just a lie. Then also, tries to compare the physiques. Like, Tasha K kind of started it, trying to compare the physique of the side chick versus Mel, and how petite she was and all these things. And Martell is just really trying to downplay everything. And I was just disgusted. I was just completely and utterly disgusted. But that pretty much was like the gist of it. Like I said, I just don't know where we go from here. There's a part 2 on Friday, and I don't know what more there is to say. Because if it's just going to be more text messages and more videos from yesteryear, like what is the point? And then Martell wanted to point out one of the times where Mel went on live and they were at the kids game and he was sitting next to her allegedly and wanted to make it seem like he wasn't there and all this other stuff. And I'm like, really, Martell? That's what we're doing? But a few moments ago, you just said that your ex-wife is trying to ruin your life. So which is it? Are you guys cool behind the scenes, or is she trying to ruin your life? Like this is the back and forth that was so infuriating on all of it. Also has some resentment in particular, and this is like the final piece for me as far as like the overall summary of this foolishness. He has a lot of resentment that Mel basically, he no longer has access to Mel's money. He tries to downplay, Mel's builder's license and the connections that she has in the home and real estate community and all these other things, and that he's allowed to build homes under somebody else's license and all this other stuff, and that he was the one that had the relationships with all these people, not Mel, who has put through over 1,000 students, I believe now, in her property restoration class that she does from the master class that she does every year. So how is it she has all these relationships and all these students are coming back with checks that they're getting because of this particular program, because of Melody's class, and then tried to diminish Mel as like somebody who just sells stuff, quote, online. But here's the thing. It's selling enough stuff to where she's able to afford, not only nice things for herself and her kids, but also luxury items for her fans and her supporters and her customers that continue to support her. And then wanted to talk about Embrace is really trying to take credit for Mel's success. But the problem is you are broke currently. You are broke and you have no success. So that's the problem here. And you're trying to latch on to anything to diminish it, but what do you have going for you? What is your source of income? What is it that you have happening? Right? So I was just, like I said, I was just very disgusted. I felt like times Tasha K was trying to set him up, but then I felt like other times she was trying to lift him up and like throw shade to Mel, which was unnecessary. Like I said, I would have sued all these people a long time ago. I would have gotten a restraining order against all these people a long time ago. I would have had supervised visits as it pertained to Martell and the side chick a long time ago, because this is unhinged behavior. This is completely unhinged behavior, you guys. So there's that. There's more stuff, but these were the highlights, or I should say the lowlights of, all of that. But nonetheless, that's it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did any of you guys tune in? Did you tune in at the $12.99 for Tasha K Live? Did you guys tune in on YouTube? Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you're just kind of perusing around and seeing different people's recaps. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think of Martell's, just character assassination once again of Mel, regurgitated lies that he has said in other interviews, and then a whole contradiction and just completely the opposite of everything that his side chick has said everywhere for the past several years. So there's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.